Hello and welcome to the KCK Inspiring Moments with Kaylin radio show. I am your host, Kaylin John Louis, and it is my pleasure to be on the air with you all today. I hope you are having a great day and that you are doing everything in your power to stay safe. Before I go any further, I want to make sure I reiterate to please use safety precautions around yourself and others when you go into crowds that you're unfamiliar with or you're going in these big crowds. Make sure to please I encourage you to mask up with the new emerging COVID strand and just with this new upcoming monkeypox virus. Just please do everything in your power to stay safe around others and when you're going to unfamiliar places. I also, before I go any further, I do want to say to download the Hallelujah 95.3 app so that you can listen to this show on the go with your family and friends. Also, please tag a friend and have them listen in today because today's discussion I feel is going to be very fun and it's just going to be very uplifting for what is going on right now. Just to get right into it, as you know, summer is officially coming to an end and the school year is approaching. As my fellow peers and I say goodbye to endless nights of catching up on TV shows and the latest trends, we're now embarking on the new 2022-2023 school year. And with the anxiousness of the pandemic, a huge decline in mental health, and a fear of safety in schools, I saw it fit and I thought that it would be cool to be able to have a conversation between one of my fellow peers to talk about what this school year means to us, talk about and give some tips that have helped us in the school year, and just to be able to allow you to hear youth's perspective on how we feel about back to school. So today I will be talking about the back to school do's and don'ts. And with me, I have one of my fellow peers, but to give you a quick introduction of her, she is a rising senior who attends Florida State University schools. She is highly involved in several organizations such as the National Honor Society, the National English Honor Society, Student Council, National Spanish Honor Society, Mu Alpha Theta, Youth Leadership Tallahassee, and the Southeast Chapter of Peace Jam. She also is proud to serve as the president of Building Incredible Generations, a student-led organization that promotes diversity, inclusion, and social justice at the school and within the community. In March of this year, she was recognized as Tallahassee's one of the Tallahassee's 5 young women to watch. And she truly is a power teen who advocates for social change and is passionate about collaborating with others to address the big issues that we face in society. Her name is Miss Nia Terry, and I am honored to have her on my radio show. Welcome to the show, Nia.
Hi. Again, my name's Nia, and I'm really happy to be here and happy to talk to you today, Kay.
Yes, so happy you all. This is I like to say, one of the biggest powerhouses I know in the community because as knowing her just as a friend and in professional sense, she truly is passionate about the things that she puts her mind to. And I know that she has all these amazing tips about back to school because she is a nice, excelling scholar in the community. So we're talking about back to school, the do's and the don'ts. And first, I want to talk about this school year because this is the 2022-2023 school year. For those who don't know, I am a senior. We are both seniors. This is our year, our last year in high school. And so with that, what does back to school mean to you, Nina?
It means that it's finally over. Honestly, it means that like the last, 13 years of, being at a desk every single day and all of that are started like slowly coming to an end. It means that I have to start doing college applications. The portal opened August 1st on Common App. So, getting all my scholarships and financial aid in, like, it's going to be a wild ride. It means that I get to, open my acceptance letters and stuff like that, and get to see where I get in and, decide what the next leg of my future is. So it's closing the closing of a chapter, but it's the opening of the next one.
Yes, I love that, because while we are closing a chapter, there's so many of our peers who are entering this school year, and everything is new. I mean, for us, we're embarking a new chapter of going to college, of getting ready to enter that adulthood. For people who are younger than us, they're entering maybe a new school. They may be going and seeing new subjects that they've never been in before. They may have to make new friends. It's a time of newness. That's what I would say for back to school, because you're constantly getting challenges and having to adapt to the new part of the year. And with that, I mean, there's so much that goes on into back to school with having to get school supplies. I mean, I know they just had tax-free weekend, so the stores were packed with students and parents trying to get those school supplies to get ready. But I think that it's also good for all students to have that mental mind check before they go to school, different things that you should do and you shouldn't do to help you in the school year. And so let's just get right into the do's and the don'ts. For me, one personal do I would say is to make sure that you have everything you need on the first day of school. Make sure that you have all of your supplies.
If you haven't already, go to Target, go to Five Below, go to Walmart, like just go ahead, get your little 99-cent composition books, and stuff like that. I would agree with that.
Yes, and making sure, I know for me, a planner is very helpful, because with my busy schedule, being able to write down everything that I have coming on, to be able to check it off is just, it's it makes me feel proud of myself for doing things in the day.
I would invest in sticky notes even. I do like a whiteboard with sticky notes on them, and I have them color coded with tasks and stuff like that, because I don't like planners because I always lose them. So I have this big whiteboard in my room, and so I like keep sticky notes of like all the tasks, all color coded and everything. And so every time I finish a task, instead of like crossing it off in a planner, I could throw away a sticky note, and it's the most satisfying thing ever for me. So find some system of organization for tasks, definitely, because you think that it's okay until it's not. Until like you're midway in the year and you're about to get ready for studying for finals, and it's not.
Organization is key, I would say. It is definitely key. Make sure you have something that keeps you organized, because it'll help you meet deadlines, especially even if you're young, meeting deadlines such as making sure you have everything ready for FSA testing, or even if you are getting ready for collegiate years, making sure you have deadlines for the SAT and the ACT, making sure you write down when your assignments are due in class. Everything matters and everything counts when you're in school. You want to make sure you remember those important details.
And speaking of SAT and ACT, my next do would be, if you are in either whether you're in 9th, 10th, or 11th grade, start paying attention to the SAT stuff. If you're in 9th grade, I would say Khan Academy has a great selection of study resources for you to do for both SAT and PSAT. If you're about to do PSAT in 10th grade, I would say the same thing. And for 11th graders, I would also recommend doing the PSAT because it gives you that National Merit Scholarship. So if I were you, I would recommend definitely investing in some sort of study resource. You don't have to have a tutor. You don't have to go get the $200 study book for one of them. Khan Academy has a great selection. My brother's currently starting his, and he's in the 9th grade. So if you're getting ready to do tests, go ahead and start doing that regularly, because studying just a month before the test is it's not a good idea unless you're naturally super smart, and most of us don't have that luxury. So I would definitely do that.
I'm glad you mentioned that too, with using Khan Academy, because that goes into my next do as well, which is use your resources. We have so much at our hands because of the internet, because of social media, because of the people around us. And so I would say it's good that if you have those apps, like you said, Khan Academy, you can use Kahoot, Quizlet, different things like that to help you review for upcoming tests and assignments. Use your resources wisely, because they will end up helping you in the long run.
And I would say your resources don't just have to be like, your resources don't have to be like technology or anything or books. Like, it doesn't have to be anything physical. It can literally be like making a group chat, but of people that like know what they're doing in a specific thing. Go ahead and like start talking to people who have taken the classes that you're taking and ask if maybe they can help tutor you or help you like study and stuff like that. Ask them what they did to study last year for their class and what methods work best for them. Because it'll help you get through the class really well. Go ahead and like the first day of class when you walk in, go ahead and make a whole group chat with the whole class. It's going to be really beneficial at 10 o'clock at night when y'all are trying to study or finish that last assignment or write that essay, because everyone else is also going to be up at like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night trying to finish that essay or assignment you know what you're supposed to do, because procrastination, oh, it's not good for you. It's what we all do.
Right.
Go ahead and make that group chat now. Go ahead and get that texting going. Even have like regular, if you're doing an AP class, I would suggest having regular study meetings, whether that's every other Friday or every other Wednesday at someone's house after school, like wherever it needs to be. If you want to go to brunch, you want to go to lunch or something on a Saturday, find a way to like consistently motivate yourself to study, whether that's by yourself or in a group. I would suggest in a group because it's more fun, but some people get distracted. And definitely if you do in a group, like come up with like games and stuff, make it fun and interesting for you to study, not just like, I'm sorry, like where you're chanting the words. It doesn't work out very well.
Right. That's good to mention. I mean, make it fun. That's the whole purpose with back to school. You want to not do, when every year you get in a new grade, you want to find ways that help you become smarter, find things that help you. So if you know you learn via observing things, find ways to study with people that you can do something fun like a game or watch a video. Make it fun for yourself, because you're going to have teachers who are constantly giving you material. You're going to have the same lecture sometimes, or you have to listen to endless talking from your teacher or being able to hear the subject for the class. And so you want to make sure that you are making learning fun for you, because I mean, not everybody finds that fun. Then you also want to make sure that, as Nia said, when you are making those connections and forming those group chats, you want to make sure you always ask for help in the school year. If you're struggling with the subject or you're struggling with a specific assignment in class, do not be afraid to ask for help, even if it's from your teacher, or it could be just your friend. Hey, do you know how to do this math assignment? Do you know how to write this portion of the essay? Because we're all in this together. We're going to get through school by helping each other and making sure we're that backbone for each other.
As someone who does not, like religiously does not ask for help, like it's bad. Kay knows it's bad. But like shout out to Miss Costa. She was the first person to like really seriously, like the first teacher to seriously be like, no, but you do need to ask me for help. She mandated that we had conferences with her to talk about different things. They want you to ask questions. Like they want you to be curious, and they're not going to shame you because you don't know something. At least like most of them, like good teachers will not shame you because you don't know something. So seriously, like do ask questions. If they have office hours, go ahead and find out what that is now. Do make great connections with your teachers. You should have their email. You should regularly like check your grades, and if something's off, email, talk, office hours. You should be regularly having conversations with your teacher about what your method of success is, especially if you're getting ready to go into college, because that is what college professors expect you to do. They're not going to look and be like, oh yeah, you have a 0 on this. What's that about? Like they're not going to ask you. They're just going to be like, oh, it's missing.
Right.
And then just leave it in the grade book, and you find out when you like look and check. So definitely make a regular habit of making good connections with your teachers. Tell them what's going on in your life, especially if you're in positions that keep you out of school for long periods of time, whether that be leadership, family, whatever it is. Go ahead and tell them, hey, my name's this. I have, soccer games, so sometimes I might be leaving during 7th period. I have this leadership thing, which means I might have meetings on Mondays during class, but I can, work to figure, and you guys can work to figure out the best plan for success for you for your school year.
Yes, that is very important. Making sure you make those connections, and overall using these tips, whether it's making connections, asking for help, finding what learning strategy works best for you. Everything that we have said, I know for us it is work. And I mean, everybody learns differently. Everybody does things differently when it comes to back to school, but we feel that these are some helpful tips. And with the do's, there's also the don'ts because we know there's a lot of things that you shouldn't do when it comes to going back to school, when it comes to being in the school year. So to set that up, I want to say one, don't miss opportunities for success. When I say that, that means if there is an opportunity at your school for you to learn more for the SAT or for you to learn more for a class, even if that means staying 15 minutes extra after school to get help from a teacher. If that means making sure that if you can get service hours for a certain opportunity after school, go and join those clubs, do those activities because those opportunities of success will help you in the future.
Yeah, I would agree. Like, definitely take advantage of like, don't sit there and like somebody says, hey, like there's these like community service hour thing that I really need help with. Do you want to help? Don't be there and be that person that goes, no, I'm not helping you with it. Like, what do you have to lose? Like, I get if you have something else that you have to do, but if you just plan on sitting in your house watching Netflix, like just do the service hours because they're going to come in handy on college applications. I would, to build off of like, don't stay in your house and watch Netflix. Don't stay in your house and watch Netflix every single day after school. Like, and don't just stay in your house and only study. That's also not a good idea. Like, you shouldn't be spending more than like 4 hours studying. I don't even spend more than 2 max. Because you have a life. Like, I get that you're a student. I get that you want to make sure that you have the greatest grades, that you can get into college and financial aid and all this other stuff. But to be honest with you, while colleges do look at grades and GPA, they also look at everything that you do outside of that. Join clubs. You don't need to join everything. I would suggest joining maybe 2 or 3, maybe 4, max 5, and do a sport once a season. I would recommend only doing 2 sports. Those of you who are tri-sport athletes are a different breed. I cannot be one of you. But definitely, be social. Like the first day of school, you want to talk to everybody, especially if you're a freshman. Talk to everybody. That's one of my biggest regrets when I first came to our school, is I didn't talk to anybody. And everybody thought that I was mean and scary, which I'm not. I'm a very nice person. So don't close and shut yourself off. Definitely, even if you are introverted, find your group, find your people. If you're interested in art, join art club. If you're interested in photography, if you're interested in leadership opportunities, whatever it is, go find something to do on campus because there's always more than enough, whether that be, going to homecoming pep rallies, playing basketball or, drawing the next comic for, the journal for the school journalism club. Whatever it is, you'll find your thing and definitely go out there and exist in the world. Staying at home and being a couch potato is not fun in high school.
You must get involved. That goes beyond high school. I would say do that in middle school. Make sure that you're always social. Because I mean, we spent a whole year where we couldn't be around people. And I'm not saying go up and touch people because we still want to keep that sanitary space, but be involved. Get involved. Get involved in your clubs, get involved in your school, and get involved in the community. Another thing that I want to say that is a don't is one, don't be afraid of your setbacks and obstacles that happen in the year because you're going to have those moments where you don't get a good grade on the test. You may have a quiz and you miss one question. I had the same thing happen to me, and it can just as easily knock your day down. But you have to remember, it's a one-time thing. You look at it, you learn, you observe what you've done, and then you don't make the mistake again. Whether that means studying more, whether that means getting extra help, just don't be afraid of those setbacks and obstacles.
I would agree. And building off of failure, don't forget your mental health. Really, do not forget it. And don't forget your health in general. If you are not sleeping, if you're not eating, if you're not if you're crying over assignments every 6 days, if you're if you're freaking out, if there's mental breakdowns going on, if you are not okay, you need to figure that out. It doesn't mean that you need to I would basically say find an adult to talk to. But I know that's not the option for everyone. I know that there are complications and things like that, but find someone to talk to, and figure out like how to at least get 7 hours of sleep, mostly like regularly, minimum 7, preferably 9 hours of
Right.
sleep or 10 hours of sleep. Try to get sleep at night. I know lunch can sometimes be a little not great for everybody, but try to get lunch in the middle of the day, or even just bring snacks. Like, make sure you drink water, bring a water bottle, please. Like, do not forget like that while you're at school, you still actually do have to like take care of yourself. Like, you don't get to just like be like, I'm coming to school in sweatpants. I haven't eaten in 3 days, and I'm very exhausted, because that's what I do. It's not a good look. It's not one of my favorite
But
things to
she
do.
has
Um,
people to help
yeah,
her.
and so I like what I did is I used to do that, and now I don't. And it's way easier to get through the day and way easier to get through the work of school, when you can, at least come in feeling good. Maybe classes aren't going good, but at least you ate sushi for lunch. Like, at least you drank all your water today. Like, take pride in the small victories if you can't take pride in, I passed my math test today, right? So definitely look for the little things to be happy about, and make sure you do the little things that make you feel good.
It's so important. It's so important to celebrate yourself when you're going through these situations. Because if you don't celebrate yourself in school, I know there's not always teachers who are going to give you a high five when you get a good grade on a test. There's not always going to be teachers who there may be even some family who may not be that support for you. But you have to remember that you are your greatest supporter. So when you have those situations, even when you get an A on a homework assignment, or your teacher leaves a small note saying that you improved on a subject, or you have a friend that's going through something and you help them in school, pat yourself on the back. It's okay to be able to celebrate all that you do to make sure that you're a good student. And I mean, overall, I think back to school, it has its variety of emotions. It's a roller coaster, right? Because you
Oh,
start off at the beginning of the year where you're like, I'm so excited. I'm going to conquer the day. And then you get a little bit mid through, or you have midterms or tests, and it's like, this has been long. I'm ready for school to end. And then you get to the end and you're just pushing, like, we're almost there, almost out of school. So
we
I
can
just,
make it.
right, we can make it. So just take advantage of everything, everything we've said. Even take advice from people. When people who are older than you in grades and they're telling you, sign up for this, make sure that you're going to this class or you're taking this, take the advice, because I promise it'll help you in the long run. And so I guess I would just, with there being so many do's and don'ts, Nia, and so much going on with back to school, with us being that are seniors and getting into the year, with the wisdom you have, I would ask, what advice would you give to incoming students about this new school year,
Two
about conquering? Go ahead, of course.
two things. The first is about, like school learning, and the other one is about the people that you meet. So I feel like there's a good balance here. We'll do people that you meet first. Do not be afraid to let go of other people. And it's gonna suck, but do not be afraid. Like, those of you who are incoming freshmen, don't be afraid to let go of those middle school friends that you've had since you were like forever. Like, just since forever. Even if you are a senior, don't be afraid to let go of those people that are not doing good things for you. Like hair, if you're gonna grow your hair out, you want it to be long and you appreciate how long it is. But if it's dead at the ends, you gotta chop it off, because there's no room for new hair to grow. And you don't want your hair to be super unhealthy, and next thing you know, all of your hair is brittle and nothing's working well, right? Don't be afraid to cut it off. Just chop it off. And also, don't be afraid to meet new people. Like, don't be afraid to talk to that person that you've never talked to ever. Or don't be afraid to, talk to that person who's been in your math class for like 6 years, right? Don't be afraid of, revamping your relationships. I would say that's my first one. I would say my second one, please understand that while school is important, and schooling is not the same thing as education, you should be taking responsibility for your own education. Which means in school, if you feel like you are really, really ahead, or if you feel like you are really, really behind, it is your responsibility to take care of what you need to do to make your own brain stimulated, if that makes sense. So if you are in classes and they are not challenging or hard enough for you, then you need to go and you need to go find something else to do. You need to find another way, whether that be, you're interested in going into finance in college, start looking through it. You're interested in going into communication, start looking through it. You're interested in medicine. Khan Academy has a whole thing about how to pass the MCAT. Go through it. Whatever it is that you are interested in, go ahead and start tackling those topics and subjects, because while schooling is important and while you need it, and you should be going to school. This is not me saying don't go to school. Go to school, people. Go to school. Stay in school, kids. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that there is learning that will happen outside of school, and that you should not only focus all of your learning on school grounds. School learning can happen in internships. Learning can happen through relationships. Learning can happen through watching documentaries, through reading books, through going to the library, through working in a PAGE program for a senator, whatever it is. Learning can happen in many different ways by many different types of curiosity and discovery. Don't limit it to the 8 hours that you are at school every single day, because you will find that you are not fulfilled and that your brain isn't fulfilled. So for my high achiever students who are bored in class, that would be my recommendation. And for my students that are a little bit behind, same thing. You are in charge of your own education and learning. If you feel like you are behind, like we said earlier, talk to teachers, talk to students, get a tutor. Do not be afraid to ask for help and for extra work. If you feel like there are things in class that you need to work on them. And if you feel like there are things that you are interested in that are other, work on the things in school first, and then pay attention to the things that you are more interested in and be enriched in those as well. Make sure that your education is your responsibility. If you are not educated, bad things happen, as you can see in the world right now. So make sure that when you think about your education, you don't just limit it to the hours that you're in the school, on the school grounds. Make sure you expand it to every single moment that you possibly can. That would be
Y'all, I told y'all she wise. Because I promise, I think sometimes we can have intuitive thoughts. Because that was some of the part of what I wanted to say as well. But as she said, you got to take advantage of your education in and out of school, because it's so important that you make sure you're up to date on what's going on in the world. You're up to date on things for your future, and that you're always advocating for yourself. I think the last thing that I would say, because she said amazing things for the youth going in, is that when you're going into this school year, be mindful of everything you do. I'm going to talk about this more in another show about social media and its effects, but I want to say, please be mindful about what you're posting as a student, knowing that everything you post on social media, everything that you text, that you do to certain people, it matters. When you're getting jobs, they'll do background checks sometimes. And you want to just be mindful that you're not incriminating yourself, and that you're always doing things that show you in a positive light. I know we all share TikToks, we do that, but make sure that it is reflecting a positive reaction. I like to say, if you would not be happy with your parents seeing it or someone in close seeing it, don't post it, because it will not.
I know we were just all outside, but it's time for us to come back inside. Okay, gotta come back. If you send something to someone, it can be pulled by federal agents and stuff like that. They can do that. Just because it says take a picture, disappear, does not mean that it disappeared. It has to go somewhere. So be very, very careful about what you say and what you do, because in the future that can affect opportunities afforded to you. I'm going to say that in a very vague and broad way.
Yeah. And we will work. I'm going to touch on that at another point with another show, because that's very important. But I hope you all got something from this show today. It has been amazing to have Nia. Wish I had more time. But these are good tidbits that I would say take advantage of. Now, you may not agree with everything that we've said, but it is stuff that helps. So I encourage you, if you are a student listening, even if you're a college student, even if you're an elementary student, take advantage of everything that we've discussed. I also want to say I thank you so much for tuning in. As you know, you can always catch me, but if you would like to see more about Kaylin and learn more about her, you can follow me by going to at Kaylin Cares Routine on Instagram and going to the website, which is www.kaylinscaringconnection.com. Is there any way that they would like to reach you, Nia?
You can probably reach me at like my Instagram is really complicated. It's long. But it's just look up Nia Terry on Instagram for the most part, and you should be able to just find it.
Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate your support and hope that you're enjoying these empowering conversations. Thank you for listening and catch us on the next KCK Inspiring Moments with Kaylin radio show. Bye.